bumpy. How was your flight?
It was all right. It was a little bumpy, but I did not have someone freaking out next to me this time. Although the guy that was next to me was swole as shit, so I had to sit the whole time, kind of just like leaning to the right. And I was just like, no, this is how I love this. I love to just scrunch my body together, and that's how I do it all the time.
Got it.
That was cool.
Interesting.
It was 6:30 in the morning, so everyone's just like, I also don't want to be up right now.
Was it John Cena? Was it John Cena?
If it was John Cena, I would be nestled in those arms. He would be holding me as I slept. It was not so therefore I went away in disgust.
Got it. Of course, because it wasn't John Cena. Jesus. We talked about this a little bit off the air, but Tad rocking the stash. It's not even November.
No, this has nothing to do with that. Even this was just a preemptive decision.
Interesting. How does the significant other feel about this?
Hated it at first. She says that it's growing on her.
Sure. Okay. All right.
It's also growing on my face.
Yeah. No. It's very thick.
Yeah.
I can't decide if you look more like a cop or like the BDK killer. I can't figure it out. I don't know which one it is, the BTK or a cop.
Wait till you see it. Wait till you see it in person.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't fucking wait.
It's pretty solid. I'm gonna trim the rest of the face up.
Good.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna go clean shaven with the mustache, but I am just letting the mustache grow, and I'm keeping the rest of the beard trimmed close to the face. But we're not going fully clean shaven, or I'll somehow look like a pedophile and a child at the same time. a child molester and a child at the same time.
Yep. Okay. Well, this got out of hand real quick. Welcome back, y'all. This is MBA episode 107. 107. Hopefully you enjoyed last week's episode. 2 weeks ago, we did an episode. We did our Eastern Conference preview, and then we realized that the NBA season starts, if you're listening to this, today. So we decided that we were just going to smash in this Western Conference preview, do some superlatives, and get back to it. If you watched the YouTube video, thank you. There's going to be more of these coming. Yeah. And I guess without further ado, let's introduce ourselves, gentlemen, and let's get into it. Anybody. Literally fucking anybody.
No, it's your job. You're the host. You're supposed to throw it to us.
That's fair.
AKA Hollywood Nicky, AKA Colby White Wine Spritzer.
Wow.
That was really bad.
I didn't like
Colby?
that.
No, I didn't like it either. Whatever.
All right. Well,
hi.
Let's move on to
Nicky, I'll always give you credit for your good ones, but I also
I'm okay. I need to know when they're bad. If you don't know when you fail, then how are you supposed to grow?
It's a good point.
Amen. And the man with the mustache master, the mustacher. Introduce yourself, sir.
Actually, no, I don't like the mustacher. That sounds like
I don't like it either.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Terrible.
What's up? It's Tad. I don't have an AKA today.
Beautiful.
This is Tad, AKA the I don't know, the silent stash. That'd be my superhero name.
Mustaster.
Started watching this show called The Boys on Amazon Prime.
I heard it's good.
Yeah.
It's some wild shit, man. I only watched the first episode, but it is it's wild. I don't know what I was expecting. I saw the preview, so I was expecting, but it was nuts.
Of course. Well, let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Last week, of course, we did our Western our Eastern Conference preview. This week though, we're going to be doing the Eastern, pardon me, fuck, I did it again. Last week we did the Eastern Conference. This week we're doing the Western Conference. Can you guys see my screen before we go ahead and get into it? We're going to be operating off the same Raptor scale that we went off of 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right, boys. So you know the drill. We're going to go team by team. I'm going to read off their expected win total at the end of the season. You're going to tell me plus or minus. You're going to give me your justification. We're going to start with the Memphis Grizzlies, which are currently rated to finish last in the Western Conference with a record of 32-50. Gentlemen, what say you? Memphis Grizzlies.
I think I'm gonna go. I think this is gonna be my first wash of the year. 32-50 sounds like a pretty good record for the Grizzlies. They don't really have much. They're all very young. John Morant looks like he's gonna be fun. With Jaren Jackson Jr. And then who was the other one? Is it Miles Bridges is there too?
No, Miles Bridges in Charlotte.
Charlotte, yeah, he's in Charlotte. But those two are gonna be good. And there's another person definitely on that Grizzlies team I just can't think of right now.
Oh, there is, and I will mention him if Tad doesn't.
I actually don't. I don't know. I'm sure like as soon as
Yeah,
you
just
tell
like
me,
I know there's one more.
I'm like drawing a blank. But I don't think they're going to win more than 30 games. Probably 29, 28, 29. They're not good. They're really, really bad.
Here's what I'll say about them. And the player that I was trying to mention was a one, Grayson Allen, baby.
Yes.
Allen, let's go. Let's not forget they also have Dylan Brooks.
A player that I unquestionably love, Grayson Allen.
I get it. I did too.
He's a white guy from shoots threes. I mean, like,
yeah.
Hey.
I was annoyed because he was ripping people.
Yeah, it ended.
I was like, calm the hell down, dude. You're good without the fouling.
So this team I don't hate this team for the future. They're not a good team now, but I love their pieces. I love, like, you have Jonas Valanciunas on like a fairly team-friendly contract. They just picked up Tyus Jones. You have Kyle Anderson, slow-mo. They picked him up last year. Bruno Caboclo I think he's finally 1 year away from being 1 year away instead of the previous two. I already mentioned Grayson Allen. We mentioned Jaren Jackson Jr. Obviously, Ja Morant with the number 2 overall pick this year. They won't have Andre Iguodala for much longer, so like that will end soon. They'll probably get some pieces if they're able to trade him. This is just a really fun young team. They still have Dylan Brooks, who last year didn't play much, but had a very promising rookie season. I agree with Nikki. I think I'll call this a wash.
30 points. He had 30 points in the quarter in the third quarter the other day.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Dylan Brooks is solid. He had a really good rookie season. Yeah, I like this team. I would say I agree with Nikki though. I think probably like right around, I would say 32 feels right. I don't think that they're much better than the Cavaliers, but I think just slightly, maybe 30 wins if I'm like really putting money on it.
Yeah, I don't think they win 30 games, and I agree. They're a good, like they're a young team. They don't have much of a bench. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't care that much.
They've got some interesting pieces. Like I said, Bruno's like a really interesting stretch 5 now, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. All right.
I've always kind of liked the Grizzlies, but like this year, outside of the fact that they have some young players, I don't know. I think I really like them, like with the grit and grind Grizzlies, where it's just so much fun.
But this is getting closer to that, man. Like I don't know what you guys think about Ja Morant, but I am a fan. I am a big fan.
I can't wait to see him play.
All right. Anything else we want to say on the Grizzlies? All right.
No, I'm good.
Let's move on. Last year's darlings of the Western Conference, the Sacramento Kings, are currently expected to win a total of 35 games this year. Wait a minute. Sorry, I'm going to make this like I did last week by projected record. There we go. Still the same. All right, 35 wins this year, 35-47. They just today extended Mr. Buddy Hield. Guys, what say you about the Sacramento Kings?
Okay, 2 things. One thing, this is a fucking joke. They will win more than 40 games.
I agree.
Tell you right now, they'll win more than 40 games. Number 2, also, how pissed is Buddy Hield after seeing Jaylen Brown's contract? Oh,
I think it's fair. I think that Jaylen Brown is arguably his entire career warrants his contract more so than Buddy Hield. Last year, I will say Buddy Hield, arguably the best shooter in basketball last year. Like, like record-setting year for his career and really, really good, phenomenal 3-point shooter. But like Jaylen Brown he's had sustained success across his career in comparison to Buddy Hield.
Has he though? He wasn't that good last year.
No, I agree. But last year was his worst season of his entire career.
You're paying a guy based on potential, which is something that I hate the NBA does.
But that's what you do.
114. Anyway, you know what? I'm not going to get into it because we're not talking about the Celtics. We're talking about the Kings. But De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, maybe arguably the most entertaining backcourt to watch in the league, like young backcourt. Like, yeah. I mean, like, I thought that they sort of last season, like kind of turned some heads, and I really hope that, they can kind of build off that success. And I think they'll win more than 40 games. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think
I take the over on this one too.
Yeah, I agree. I've got them at like 42. I think 42 is
probably. Yeah.
42 sounds perfect for them. Also, they got Bogdan.
They got Bogdan. Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Bro, they got Bogdan. They still got Harry Giles. Like they've got some pieces, man. They've got some.
They picked up. They've got Ariza, right?
They got Ariza. They picked up Dwayne Dedman, who was who
is nothing. He is a very underrated player.
Yeah, he
played a couple seasons in Orlando, and he's a very underrated player.
Yeah, it's a great Spurs. Just unfortunately, it was with the Hawks the last couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have a good, like, they have a pretty solid roster.
That's what I'm saying. 35 feels ridiculous to me.
It does, and like you kind of fully expect like Marvin Bagley, to take another step forward. Yeah, I mean, by all means, I think that they should be. They should be a fun, entertaining team to watch. This should be one of your top league pass teams this year.
I agree. Yeah, this is a fun team. I think 35 is ridiculous. Anything else on anything else on? Oh, let's not forget Harrison Barnes too, who's not a sexy player by any stretch of the imagination. But
I just wasn't going to talk about him.
Nemanja Bjelica, like they've got Yogi Ferrell, like. They've got some pieces, man. They've got some.
Dude, they
picked up Corey Joseph too. I forgot they picked up Corey Joseph.
I also forgot that.
A very, very serviceable backup point guard in the league. Yeah. Anyways, anything else we want to say on the Kings?
No.
Good to go.
All right. My piece. Let's move on then to the next team on this list. Again, for the listeners for the listeners, if you're watching this, you know already. For the listeners, we are operating off of 538's projections for the 2020 season. So just remember that's what we are using, 538. The next team on the agenda is the San Antonio Spurs, gentlemen, which are predicted to finish at a record of 36-46. Is this the season, gentlemen, that the San Antonio Spurs finally missed the playoffs?
No.
Okay. I don't think so.
No. Okay. I don't. Here's my thing. I don't know. Like, they're better than the fucking Suns.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Like, I mean, like, they're probably better than the Pelicans. Like, I'm just looking at the teams ahead of them. They're probably about equal with the Blake. I mean, dude, they still have LaMarcus Aldridge, who still looks good. They still are coached by Greg Popovich. They bring back some guys who were injured last year, like Shively, like Dejounte Murray. They have a good team, and they have the best coach in the NBA. Like, why would they not? Yeah. I mean, there's absolutely no reason why I see them not making the playoffs. I don't know what their win total is going to be, but if the Kings are winning more than 40 games, then so are the Spurs.
Yeah, I would give the Spurs 45 if I'm giving 42 to the Kings.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, and they got like Patty Mills, Rudy Gay, DeMar DeRozan. You really think a team of they're going to be like the Clippers last year. Where it's going to be like maybe like one all-star, maybe not, but also like, they're going to work well as a team.
Well, and now you rid yourself of, like, I mean, granted they did this last season, but like you rid yourself of Paul Gasol. Now Jakob Poeltl gets meaningful minutes. Let's not forget that like Dejounte Murray is coming back, and they have Derek White, who was really good in the summer. And the Team USA.
Yeah, is it Lonnie Walker's on that team?
Lonnie Walker. This is his official rookie season. He didn't play last year.
Yeah, like they have pieces on, and I'm just saying I brought him up because he's looked good in preseason. Like they've got people, and DeJounte Murray has been looking really good.
Yeah, they got they picked up Damari Carroll in the offseason. They picked up Trey Lyles in the offseason, who I've always been a big fan of. Just like a nice stretch forward.
Patty Mills coming off of a great run at the FIBA.
Yep.
Yeah, I will say this. This will be the Spursiest Spurs roster in Spurs history.
In a while.
Like, yeah, in a very long.
I don't know. Yeah, but in a while, sure.
This is a real Spurs sort of factory worker style team. Like this roster, I think is going to work very well.
Yeah, no, I like this team. I think I say with Nikki, I'd say probably like 43 wins this season.
Yeah, it's something like that. I mean, like
sneaky good team.
That's probably they're the fucking Spurs. Like they're like, how have people not figured out? Like, stop counting them out. Like I just what I mean. Like at this point, like what are you doing?
Yeah,
I agree.
You're gonna be.
All right. Anything else we have to say on the San Antonio Spurs?
No.
I miss Tim Duncan.
I mean, he's gonna be on the bench this year.
I know that.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, and he's got some great hair. He's got some fucking great hair. All right. Let's move on to the next team on this list, which 538. Listen, man, you guys are a group of statisticians, and I'm going to trust you for what the numbers you put together. This one seems like a little bit of a stretch, in my opinion.
This thing with Tim Duncan's hair.
With his what?
Is going on?
Oh, you don't like his hair?
What is he doing? Also, Tim Duncan kind of looks like Dane Cook.
Huh.
Like with this haircut.
No, I have to pull it up. Hold on.
Can we get side by side too?
Somebody's got that on the internet. Hold on. Tim Duncan.
Like
Dane Cook. This may be the first time that this has ever popped up in Google.
Apparently there's like 1 billion like unique like new searches on Google every day. Like a search that nobody's ever done before.
All right, let's see if there's a side by side.
Play Call of Duty.
Okay, so far no.
So far,
my favorite
search Tim Duncan, Cook, and all. There's no pictures of either of them.
Yeah. None of these guys are Tim Duncan.
Yikes. Arnie Duncan. We got Arnie. Arnie Duncan looks kind of like a Dane Cook, Tim Duncan hybrid. Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, just Google Tim Duncan hair.
Oh, I've seen it. It's great. I think it's a little late, but yeah.
Now look at this photo on the top left. Dude, tell me that doesn't sort of look like Dane Cook.
Let's pull it up for the viewers. Dane Cook.
It looks like
Huh.
Just imagine him saying cocoa nut. He says coconut. Funny.
I'll give it to you. How about that?
I'll take it.
How about that?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
You know who else is gonna give it to you? X.
Ooh. All right. Okay.
Waiting.
All right. All right, boys.
He delivers, which is very nice, by the way. X said he's going to deliver it to you. And that's really nice.
Yeah, he's going to deliver it to you.
On time. Okay. All right, guys. Let's talk about the Phoenix Suns, who, according to 538's predictions, will finish with a record of 37-45. These guys went in this offseason, signing Ricky Rubio, signing Frank Kaminsky, bringing in Dario Saric, trading for Aaron Baines, bringing in Tyler Johnson. They have returning, of course, second-year players Mikal Bridges and DeAndre Ayton. They extended Devin Booker over the offseason. They also bring back Kelly Oubre. How you guys feeling about the Phoenix Suns this year, guys?
I don't give a shit.
Nah, they ain't getting 37.
Oh, let's not forget that they drafted 37-year-old small forward Cam Johnson in the first round of the draft this year.
Yeah.
What a weird pick.
I give 27.
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to win 30 games. Yeah, like they're not good.
They win 30.
They're really bad.
I like them at this record. I really do. I think this team is the best team that they've had since Devin Booker got drafted.
I think they have a problem. They just have an organizational problem, which just like you can't be successful. Frankly, like
their
the organization impedes success. I think Robert Sarver is the worst owner in the NBA. I think Robert Sarver was a worse owner than Donald Sterling, who was a racist. Yeah, like they signed a lot of good players.
Well,
Like,
and let's also not forget that they hired Monty Williams to be their head coach, who is a quality NBA coach.
I do like Monty Williams.
Proven in the
I'm not
NBA.
against that.
I was getting to that. If you'd allow me, sir, to articulate my point.
Please.
What I was going to say is they signed a lot of quality players. They hired Monty Williams to be their head coach, but like the players that they signed, like I don't understand what you're trying to do. You know what I mean?
So Ricky Rubio is last year was kind of a down year for him, but defensively he's a good defensive point guard, like a good defensive backcourt member. DeAndre Ayton looked really good down the stretch last year. You have some more guys who can stretch the floor. Dario Saric is a playmaker, just another playmaker in that lineup.
Sure.
I don't hate this team. They picked up Javon Carter from Memphis, and he is like one of the better defenders in the NBA. Mikal Bridges looked better towards the back stretch of last season. Aaron Baines is obviously coming off of an injury-ridden season, but like he has been on winning teams before, has loads and loads of playoff experience. Add some toughness to that roster that they definitely needed. And I kind of like the way that Devin Booker and Kelly Oubre like gelled towards the end of last season as well. I don't know. I like them. I think 37 feels okay for me.
I'm you know what, you've made a convincing point, and I'm going to say 34 wins.
I'll bump it up to 30, but I don't think they're getting past that.
I'll take it. All right, boys. Anything else we want to say about the Phoenix Suns?
Man, I wish Dario was on a team again.
He might be.
That's all I got.
He might be.
No, this is not a winning team.
Maybe he is. Maybe this is a team.
Maybe they're the Spurs or the Sun or the Kings. There we go. Couldn't remember.
Got it. Crushed it. All right, boys. Let's talk about the talk of the town, the New Orleans Pelicans, who, of course, notoriously lost Mr. Anthony Davis to the Lakers, but in doing so, acquired the rights to the number 4 overall pick, swung some trades, and oh, by the way, got the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft, who was Zion Williamson, who we'll talk about here in a second. Made a lot of splashes in free agency, bringing over J.J. Redick, bringing over Derek Favors, trading for Lonzo and Brandon Ingram in the Anthony Davis trade. They maintained Jahlil Okafor, Frank Johnson. They brought over Josh Hart. Still have Etuan Moore. They also drafted Nikhil Alexander-Walker, cousin of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Have returning Drew Holiday, who was an All-NBA second-team defensive player. Guys, how are you guys feeling about the Pelicans this year?
I'm under the 40 mark. Mainly because we can go ahead and say it right here, right now. Zion Williams out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's a tough hit for them.
Even 6 weeks, that is a good, like literally, as we said, today's the day. The games are on. It's happening now.
Yeah. So had we recorded this 48 hours ago, I would have said 48 wins.
I would have said more.
I really like this team.
This team looked good with him on the floor.
So good.
But I think because they're going to have a stumble at first, because they'll have to, come up with another game plan. They won't have to have Zion's probably going to score 20 right down low every night. Like, no, they don't have that now. They're going to have to come up with something different. So I think they stumble at first, and I'll give them 35 wins, maybe 37, but I think 35 sounds good.
I mean, is this team legitimately better than that Lakers team? Like, without him, are they better than the Lakers last year?
Already.
They are the Lakers of last year without him.
I agree. I think they have a little bit more depth in that Lakers team they had last year. And of course the factor, the biggest factor here is LeBron, but they played the majority of the season without him. So as far as I'm concerned, this team is better than that Lakers team.
That's what I'm saying. Is they're more I feel like there's a lot of similarities, mostly because they have Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, and Lonzo Ball.
Totally.
That said, I don't know, man. Derek Favors, I'm curious to see kind of what he's still got left.
I love him at the 5. He never got to play the 5 in Utah.
Right. That is true. That's, because they had that guy, Rudy Gobert. You might have heard of him. He's all NBA. So anyway,
yeah.
Decent player, yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing. J.J. Redick has never missed the playoffs in his career. He's not going to this year. They still make the playoffs. They probably win say 44 games. Say 44 games. I think they still win 44 games. This is a talented team. Jahlil Okafor, I've actually been really impressed with like how he's sort of turned his career around after like really flaming out hard in Philadelphia.
Yep.
You know who I hate is Brandon Ingram, and I don't expect him to take another leap. Are you still on that train, by the way? I'm very curious to know.
In this iteration of this team, I'm more into Lonzo on this team than I am in Brandon Ingram.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
I think that Lonzo is going to have a good season. I think he's out of LA. I think he's out of the spotlight. It seems like he has like really like sort of changed the relationship that he had with his father, which is I think good for him. Obviously, you never want somebody to have a poor relationship with their parents, but in this case, I think it's probably for the best. So no, I think he'll have a good season. I think they'll be pretty good.
Yeah, I tell you what, this and granted, even without Zion, I think they're still my league pass team. I really like this team.
Yeah, I'm still watching them.
Like if they're on, like for me, that's appointment watching. Like I want to catch that game. I want to see how these young players are gelling together. I want to see them paired with Drew Holiday and JJ Redick. Like I want to see it all. I really, really like this team. I even without Lonzo for the first 6 to 8 weeks, I still say 44. I agree with Tad.
I don't know who's not going to make the play. I'm like talking about all these teams. I'm like, well,
I've got it. They're coming up. They're coming up fast.
I got to start writing some people off. Actually, I see some of them that we have.
Yeah, there's a couple people up here that are not going to make the playoffs. And
yeah, I think I saw some pretty there.
There's some interesting ones here. Do we have anything else we want to say on the Pelicans?
No, I'm good on that one.
I love JJ Redick.
Amen, brother. All right, let's move on to the next team in the Western Conference, the Portland Trailblazers. Last year, who finished third, had the dagger W against Oklahoma City. Dame Lillard taking them all the way to the conference finals. Unfortunately, losing to the Golden State Warriors. The Trailblazers currently are predicted to finish at 41-41. Let us not forget that they no longer have Leonard Myers, and Yusuf Nurkic is going to be injured for most of the season, but they did trade for Hassan Whiteside. So, guys, how are we feeling about the Portland Trailblazers?
They overachieved last year.
Okay.
They will still make the playoffs.
Agreed.
Yes.
But they will not. They will not have the sort of run that they had last season, which was very impressive, to say the least. I like the team. I don't know that they got any better. I don't know that they got any worse.
Yeah.
They lost Al Farouk Aminu. He's in Orlando, obviously. They picked up Hassan Whiteside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. And they picked up Pau Gasol. They also signed Mario.
And they traded for Kent Bazemore, which was a nice little pickup.
Yes, I was just about to say that, Kent Bazemore. And then I'm pretty sure they also signed Mario Hezonja.
They did?
Yes.
That fucking bum. But like their team, like I don't know, they still got Rodney Hood, who I actually was really impressed with. I thought he had a pretty nice bounce back season last year.
He really did.
Anthony Simmons is a player that I've always been really high on since he was in school.
Yes.
So like, yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be a good team. They're not going to be a great team. They are not one of the elite teams in the West, but a fine team, yes. Nurkic will be back and healthy too, though. So I don't know.
It's gonna be a while. Man. That injury was horrific.
Yes.
It's gonna be.
Trust me.
If he comes back this year, he will play minimal minutes towards the end of the season and probably won't play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh wow, he is not expected to be back until January 31st.
Bro, he broke his leg bad. It was bad. Real bad. Like major league.
I thought he would be back like a month or two into the season. I don't know anything.
Well,
about
he got injured like right before the playoffs were about to start. So it was almost as late as you could have possibly wanted it.
I clearly don't know anything about practicing medicine because I had really truly assumed he would be back soon.
The miracles of modern medicine.
Incredible. Yeah, that's the thing. I clearly put too much stock in the miracles of modern medicine because I had fully assumed he was going to be back and healthy. So
you're very faithful in Western medicine.
I trust doctors, man.
Nikki, what you got?
Hey,
Portland Trailblazers.
I think I will be giving them 41. Kind of sounds pretty good to me. I think if I'm going over, it's 42. I think I'll give them 42. So over by 1. But yeah, I think I don't. I mean, congrats on getting shooters, but I don't think Hassan Whiteside's doing much to this team.
Okay.
I will
I
see.
actually disagree with that. I think he's gonna have. I think he's gonna be in a place. He's not like he's in Portland. He's not in Miami anymore, where he can be a fucking jackass.
And let's
Like,
not forget, it's a contract year.
Oh, that's a good
Forgot
point.
about that.
Ah, yes.
I forgot about that.
So,
But I think I'll still give them 42.
okay,
42
okay.
and 4.
Guys,
They're gonna,
I
they're
like
gonna-
this team. I like this team. I got them at 46 wins. Not having Nurkic sucks, and losing Amino is tough. But you know who this frees up minutes for? Zach Collins. And that's my fucking boy. I fucking love Zach Collins. He is incredible on the defensive end. He can stretch the floor. He can handle. He can pass. And he did not get nearly enough playing time last year because their front court was so front heavy. So front heavy. They had to find like minutes for Myers Leonard because they paid him, and you've got Nurkic and you've got Aminu, you've got all these guys who are taking minutes away from my boy Zach Collins. Zach Collins is going to be playing meaningful minutes for the Portland Trail Blazers here, and I predict that Anthony Simmons will finish in the top 5 for most improved player in the NBA this year. I really like this team. Low key, I like this team. Also, really like Nasir Little from North Carolina. They got him really late in the draft. If he can slot into a nice little role on the team as like a 3-and-D a 3-and-D forward on the perimeter, I like this team. I go 46 over.
Okay.
46. Okay. I'm still taking 40.
This team. I like this fucking team. I
can
really
tell.
do.
I mean, you still got Terry Stotts. I am really upset that they don't have Myers Leonard anymore. I really like that guy. I mean, he stinks, but like
so bad. So bad.
I like him.
He's in Miami now.
I like that.
He is in Miami.
Zach Collins and I have the exact same hairstyle, so I appreciate it. That's always okay with me.
Guys, every year we come into the season like I think the Portland Trailblazers gotta blow this shit up, and every year they make us look like assholes. Why do we think this year is gonna be any different?
I didn't say it was gonna be different. I just said they didn't get any better.
I agree. I think the pieces that they had are what's going to make them better. Let's go Trailblazers.
I always root for them. I love them.
Rip City.
I think CJ might be my second favorite player in the league, and he doesn't even play for my team. I also love Dame Lillard. I mean, like,
I love Damian Lillard.
How can you not?
He's fucking awesome.
He's a great rapper.
Great shoes. He gets it.
All right, boys. Anything else we want to say on the Blazers?
Yes, Damian Lillard's diss track at Shaq
murdered him, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, Shaq?
Incredible.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that was so good.
Oh,
That shit was hilarious.
any other hot
good.
takes? Any other hot takes on the Blazers?
No. I think is it possible to have a hot take about the Blazers? Like I feel like the Blazers are.
I feel like I just gave one.
No. You said that they're getting that their roster improved and that they're going to win 46 games. You didn't say a hot take is the Blazers are going to win 63 games and win the NBA championship. That's a hot take.
I said Anthony Simmons finishes top 5 and most improved.
No, but we both agree with that. That's not that hot.
That's not hot, man. That's not a hot take.
It's not a unanimous.
The Blazers and the Denver Nuggets are two teams that you can't have a hot take about. Like, it's just not possible. They're just a model. It's like the Spurs. You can't ever have a hot take about the Spurs.
Yeah.
They're teams that are just models of consistency. Like, as far as it's like, you're never going to get like super high on them. You're never going to get super low. Like, none of your expectations are going to be like terribly like outrageous. Like, everything you say about one of those teams, most people are going to be like, yeah, that makes sense. I digress.
All right. Okay. Well, let's move on to the next team, guys. The Minnesota Timberwolves, who, of course, last year had a tumultuous season, losing their head coach, trading away Jimmy Butler, in return, receiving Robert Covington and Dario Saric, who, as we mentioned previously, is now with the Phoenix Suns. Guys, they are currently slated to finish with a record of 43-39. They were able to move up in the draft this year and draft Texas Tech's Jarrett Culver at number 6, just before the Chicago Bulls. That's okay. I like Kobe White. In any case, guys, how do we feel about the Timberwolves this year? Record of 43-39 prediction.
Under. There's no way they make the playoffs.
Under.
This team sucks.
They suck.
This team is terrible. They're
not
terrible. They lost Derrick Rose, which he didn't make them substantially better, but he was arguably their best scorer last year because Cat had a weird season. Now Cat was all NBA. Okay, I realize how ridiculous what I just said is, so I'm gonna walk that back a little bit. Obviously,
I wasn't gonna stop you, but I could see your face. You kind of made your own realization. So.
I did. They also lose Tyus Jones. Their only real point guard now, I guess, is Jeff Teague. Although they do have Josh Okogie, which had a nice little rookie season. They draft Jarrett Culver. Andrew Wiggins is a lost cause.
A bum. He's a bum. I don't think he likes playing basketball.
No, he does. I agree with you on that, and I think
I agree with that.
this team is rudderless. They have a transcendent talent in Karl Anthony Towns, the best shooter statistically, the best shooting center in the history of the NBA. In the history of the NBA, they have him on their roster, and yet they just can't figure it out, man. They can't figure it out.
The same thing that they did with Kevin Love.
It's because
sucks his name's not Kevin.
The organization. It's the same thing with the Suns. The organization is inept from top to bottom. It permeates down to the players, and they suck every fucking year. They're the fucking worst. The Timberwolves suck. They're a terribly run organization. They let fucking David Kahn draft their team for like 8 fucking years. Like, Jesus Christ. Dude, no. They're not making the playoffs. They're certainly not winning 40 fucking games. And if they do, I'll eat my shirt.
The one he's wearing, people, right now. Yeah, I agree. I've got this team at like 33 wins this year. They're bad. This is a bad team. Bad.
This team is maybe worse than the Suns.
I would say, it's close as fuck.
It's close.
Yeah, they're not that good.
They're not good. They're not. Maybe I'll go with 37. I'll go with they're not.
I said 30 teams. Doesn't sound terrible, but
yeah, this team is trash. Yeah. They're so bad. It's an unfortunate situation. They've got some contracts coming off the board, so like hopefully they figure out what the fuck to do with Jeff Teague. They still got Gorgie Dang, who's an expiring contract. Like it's gonna be a messy season. Now, what I will say is, what's gonna be interesting is they're gonna play small this year. They're basically gonna put Robert Covington at the 4 next to Cat, and then they're gonna start probably Culver, Okogie, and Wiggins, or maybe Teague instead of Okogie. But like they're gonna be a solid defensive team. I'm pulling for Ryan Saunders. I really am, but this team is not a good basketball team.
No, they're not.
That's it.
Nope.
That's all I got. Anything else on the Timberwolves?
No. Nope.
All right, let's move on to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who of course lost their 2 best players in the offseason, a one Paul George to the LA Clippers and a one Russell Westbrook to the Houston Rockets in a major, major trade, of course, that netted them Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari, and Chris Paul's contract and other things. Guys,
Paul's butt.
Chris Paul's big old butt. You heard it here first, guys. Guys, a lot of rumors in the offseason that Chris Paul was going to be traded. He still remains on the Oklahoma City Thunder roster. 44-38 is the prediction for the Oklahoma City Thunder, guys. How do you feel?
Under.
Like
a motherfucker. I think
they're
worse than the Timberwolves.
I don't know.
That's
about
ridiculous.
That,
That's ridiculous. Guys,
They're
they still have Steven Adams. Danilo Gallinari was really good last year. They still have Dennis Schroeder. Like they're not worse than the Timberwolves.
Yeah. They're not worse. I just said they're not worse. Nikki was the only one.
Nikki, they're not worse than the Timberwolves. You idiot.
But they're not good. They're not good.
They're not a good team.
Are they better than the Kings? I don't think they are.
I don't think so either. I give them a 38. They're better than the Timberwolves in my book by 1 win.
Nah, I disagree with you guys. I think 45 is right around where they need to be. 44, 45. I think they'll be fighting for the 8 seed. Guys, this is not a bad team. Okay, Danilo Gallinari was the best player on the Clippers last year. Chris Paul is still Chris Paul, and of course will be. He's going to be delegating some of his point guard duties to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is a very promising second-year player who had a very, very, very solid rookie season. They still have Steven Adams. They have Terrence Ferguson, who was solid. Andre Roberson is now back from injury. Dennis Schroeder, who was their backup point guard last year, coming back. You know, they've got some promising young players in Hamidou Diallo. Like, I mean, there's some guys on this roster that I don't hate. I mean, this is an interesting team. They're not a great team, but I actually foresee the Thunder making the playoffs this year.
I'll give them 43 then. 43 is what I'd be willing to give them.
I like this team.
Better than them.
I don't. Dude, I think it's close.
You are really putting a lot of eggs in the basket of hoping that guys who haven't ever stayed healthy in their entire careers are going to stay healthy for an entire season. Danilo Gallinari will not stay healthy for the entire year.
I don't even think Chris Paul will.
Chris Paul won't stay healthy for this. Oh, he had 1 year. He had 1 year where he stayed healthy his entire career.
I'm just saying.
Yes, dude, you're banking on what is a statistical anomaly for the guy's career. He won't stay healthy. Chris Paul won't stay healthy. Where's all the scoring coming from?
I mean, you just said it. Danilo, Chris Paul, Steven Adams, like Terrence Ferguson, Shai Gilgeous. Like they've got
Terrence Ferguson's going to average like 8 points a game.
He's a 3-and-D wing. That's exactly what they need from him. That's exactly what they need for him to do.
I don't see it, and I don't see they don't have a good coach.
Danilo average, but here's the thing.
People are gonna hate. They're gonna hate Chris Paul. The other players are gonna hate Chris Paul. No, I'm sorry, it's not happening. The team doesn't work. They're not gonna be good. They're not gonna be good. They're not.
Listen, Danilo.
They're not gonna be good. They're not gonna be good. Stop talking. They're not gonna be good.
Also, Billy Donovan hasn't been able to coach because he had to create an offense that's centered around Russell Westbrook. This is his first opportunity to actually coach in the NBA. Let's see what he can do.
Fine.
The Chris Paul, Steven Adams pick and roll will be fun. I give you that. That would be a lot of fun. But
I'm interested to see.
And here's the thing. I love Chris Paul. Love him. One of my favorite players. But nope.
That's a team. I think because Chris Paul averaged 17 last year. So all your top players are going to just be averaging about 17. You're going to have 5 dudes that average 17 points.
Again, this is not a championship team. I'm saying they're going to make the playoffs.
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
I don't see it.
All right, it's on wax. Anything else we want to say on the Thunder, guys?
Nah.
All right, let's move on to one of the I guess maybe the second sexiest team in the Western Conference. A lot of opinions on this. The Dallas Mavericks are currently predicted to finish with a record of 45-37. Of course, they have returning Rookie of the Year, Luka Doncic. They traded for Kristaps Porzingis last year. This will be his first full season with the Dallas Mavericks. He brought back Seth Curry, but fucking signed Boban Marjanovic. Good call. Still have JJ Barrera, Maxi Kluber, who was a promising young player for them. Tim Hardaway, they got him in the Kristaps trade. He looked pretty good for them last year. You bring back Jalen Brunson, Dwight Powell. Guys, how are you guys feeling about the Mavericks this year?
Here's what I think. The West is fucking loaded.
So loaded. It's crazy.
Loaded.
It's crazy. Yeah. The Thunder would be like the 5 seed in the East.
This is a very good team. Like I'm having a hard time. I think this is probably going to be my only wash of these rankings. Like I think this number is probably pretty accurate. I don't know who's going to make the playoffs. Like if you put a gun to my head and told me to rank the teams 1 through 8, and even you could put a gun to my head and ask me just to tell you who the 8 playoff teams in the West are going to be, and I'd probably just tell you to pull the trigger, because like I don't know that I can. Like this roster is good. Like they're really good. Yeah, like you listed all the players. Like, I don't think I need to go into it, but like Tim Hardaway Jr. was really. I'm really happy for him, like getting into a good situation where he's not in New York and he can actually thrive and be like a good complementary player on a good team. Obviously, we fully expect Luka to take another step forward. Kristaps, the one big concern is like, what does Kristaps look like coming back from injury?
Yep.
But then, Seth Curry has proven that although he's not nearly as good as his brother is, that he, certainly does belongs in the league. Dwight Powell is a player that I've always really liked. They've got Courtney Lee, who I've always loved, even though he missed that tip-in layup in the NBA Finals against the Lakers. Still maintain that if that goes in, that's a completely different series. Yeah, man, I don't know. They're pretty good.
You know what else?
They're better than the Thunder.
They signed DeLon Wright too. I forgot about DeLon Wright.
Yeah, they have DeLon Wright. Yeah,
a really, really good backup point guard for the Raptors last year.
They've got Jalen Brunson also.
Love him. Pride of. Where the fuck is he from again? I know he went to Stevenson High School. Anyways, he's from here.
So he's from like the North Shore.
Yeah. I forget his fucking name or what the suburb he's from. Anyways, I digress. I like this team too.
Mr. Basketball, did you know that?
He did. His dad played for the Bulls when he was in high school, so he was here for a couple years. And yes, won Mr. Basketball for Stevenson High School.
Lincolnshire.
There it is. Thank you. Yeah. I agree with Tad. This is a good team. Their success it really relies on whether or not Kristaps is going to be able to come back and be like 80% Kristaps. Doesn't have to be 100%, but if he can be like 80%, what I love about him and Luka is that their strengths complement each other so well. Like Nick, you talked about a Steven Adams, Chris Paul pick and roll. That Kristaps Luka pick and roll is going to be nasty if Kristaps is back. Like borderline unguardable. I mean, if those two guys, and it looks like all signs point to both of them taking their off seasons very seriously and getting their bodies in shape and taking care of themselves. I mean, look, Kristaps looks like fucking Drago, dude. Like he looks yoked, crazy yoked. If he's back, you pairing them with Tim Hardaway, who is going to fill the scoring load in a lot of ways, with a fairly deep bench. I like this team too, man. I think this is going to be a wash for me as well, but I do like them. But this is a team like the Celtics where at the end of the season, if you told me they flopped this year and they got 38 wins and missed the playoffs, I'd be like, okay, well, the Kristaps thing didn't work out. And if you told me they finished with 50 wins this year, I'd be like, yo, Luka took the next step and Kristaps is back. Like this is the future of the Western Conference. I say I'm gonna call this a wash as well.
I am giving them the under. I think they ended up with like 43 wins this year, but I think they're going to be a very fun team to watch. And I think in the years to come, they're definitely going to be winning 50. Like they look good. I think I need them for having one more year.
I love this team. All right. Anything else we want to say on the Mavericks?
No.
All right. Let's move on to the next.
Wait, I'm sorry. Real quick. Mark Cuban is a way better owner than anyone gives him credit for, because look at how quickly this team has turned around. The Suns could have never done this. And who else on this damn list? The Knicks will never fucking do this. I have to give it, because we've been talking about how shitty all of like the upper people in all.
Hold on. The Knicks did contribute to the Mavs being where they are now. So let's hold off on that. Contributed quite a bit, if you ask me. All right, let's move on to the next team on the list, which is the Los Angeles Lakers. Of course, made a big trade for Anthony Davis in the offseason. They have LeBron James. I posted a story on the NBA Instagram account the other day that went through their roster. It's not pretty, if you ask me, but they are currently slated to finish with a record of 47-35. Gentlemen, how are you guys feeling about the Lakers this year? Of course, they lose.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, I get the hype because it's LeBron and Anthony Davis, but that's it.
That's literally
there's literally nobody else. The team is I actually have to Google the roster. I'm sorry.
It's
I
let's.
actually-
Well, I'll
They
name
got
off some of the
Danny
guys.
Green, and
I know they
like
got they got Dwight Howard and obviously
Sorry.
DeMarcus Cousins. They got Danny Green. Like let me hold on. They were so desperate for players that they signed the corpse of Jared Dudley.
Right. Thank you.
Like, who's Troy Davis? Maybe or not?
They got Troy Daniels. They picked up Troy Daniels. They picked up
Troy Daniels.
Avery Bradley's probably going to be their starting shooting guard. Now they do have the point. They have the point guard in Alex Caruso, but otherwise, not a lot of promising athletes on this roster.
Dude, this team stinks.
They're not good.
They've got the youngest NBA Antetokounmpo on their team.
True.
Kostas, which I don't know if he's I don't think he's even better than Thanasis, who was at one point out of the league.
Your infatuation with the Antetokounmpos is adorable, borderline creepy.
Yeah.
It's not. I will never bother them my entire life unless like we were at an event where I bumped into them. If they were like go away, I'd be like, cool. It's a very nice story. Immigrant family. They had to work while playing sports. It's a whole lot. It's a beautiful story.
I respect it.
If you don't like beautiful stories, you can go straight to hell.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know. The youngest brother is 16, which means he lived that life for like 8 years. So.
I don't know what's up about him. Let's talk about the other brothers.
No, Nikki, you and I talked about this the other day when you were here in town. This team is heavily front loaded. And Anthony Davis, who really hasn't been able to play a full season in quite some time.
Can't stay healthy. Neither can LeBron.
That's it.
I mean, well, LeBron has, but I think we're gonna see that he's getting old.
He's coming off of an injury riddled season. I mean, granted, towards the end, he basically just kind of called it, but you got LeBron a year older and Anthony Davis coming off of a very weird season and 3 consecutive seasons where he hasn't been able to play a full season. Here's what I will say. At full strength with those two, they are a scary basketball team. They are a scary team with those two. The moment that one of those two is lost, it's the same shit as last year. They're a 7 seed at best.
Yeah.
It's a weird roster. It's a weird roster.
Yeah.
But I say 47. I'll say 49 because I'm banking on Anthony Davis staying healthy.
Yeah, I was going to give him 48 because I would assume he would stay healthy long enough to get that. But I think he does. They're going to take some time off, both of them, because they're going to be worried about the playoffs the whole time. Look, if they're healthy the whole season and they're playing the way that they have sometimes in the preseason, this is a team who could win like 55 games. Sure.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. It's all kind of riding on their two shoulders.
I don't think they're going to win 47 games. I'll say 44.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to say on the Lakers?
I hate them.
Point made.
I actually don't. I don't really hate them. I don't know. I liked them when they had Kobe. I hate them now.
Fair. That's fair.
And their ugly ass highlighter yellow uniforms.
Yeah, they kind of screwed up that real bad, huh?
Sure did, dude. All right, boys. Let's move on to the next team here. We have the Golden State Warriors, last year's runner-up. Of course, notoriously lost Kevin Durant in the offseason. And all signs point to Klay Thompson probably not suiting up this year. Tearing his ACL in the last game of the season doesn't bode well for coming back on time for this season. They did, however, sign D'Angelo Russell in the offseason. They brought guys in like Willie Cauley-Stein. They, of course, returned Draymond Green, Steph Curry. They drafted Jordan Poole out of Michigan. They bring back Alfonso Kinney. They're giving Marquise Chris a last chance opportunity to be something in the NBA. They did sign Alec Burks, which is an interesting signing. Guys, how do you feel
about a guy whose career I thought would always take off and just never did?
Alec Burks.
Yeah. He always had a weird situation. He's another guy who just couldn't stay healthy. That was a team that was just so loaded in the backcourt. Like year after year, we're drafting guys in the backcourt.
Yeah.
And promising guys, like a lot of promising players. How you guys feeling about the Warriors this year. I guess I should
think
say that
this
they're
is
predicted to finish with a record of 48 and 34.
I think this is probably right. I think this is probably right. Like,
Are they better than the Lakers?
Yes.
Yes,
they are.
I think so too.
They have more depth, I think.
I don't know. Not a lot.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I actually, I don't know.
Like the number one option off the bench for them is Alfonso Kinney, and soon after that is Jordan Poole. Willie Cauley-Stein is injured right now, so Kevon Looney is starting, and then they basically have like Glenn Robinson III and Alec Burks. Those are top 8 players.
It's actually no, I don't think they're better than the Lakers. If they are, it's marginal.
Although this is like, I don't know if it'll happen, but this is a chance for Steph Curry to nearly have an MVP again.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Go off this year because he knows
weird
like,
that
I have to.
It's weird that the dynasty is dead.
It may be.
It's dead.
It may be,
that you could start a new one, but that iteration of the dynasty is dead.
Yeah, right. I agree with that. But at the same time, though,
you're obviously one of the ones that might win this year. Your dynasty's over.
But at the same time, and just hear me out. D'Angelo Russell, they signed to a max contract, but he's somebody that they could easily flip in like the next year or two to like rebuild when Klay is back and healthy. I mean, Klay's only 27. I mean, he's still young as shit. So like, and this team is still, they still have the core pieces that they need to transcend.
I'm not saying that they're not a good team. I'm just saying they're not gonna have Klay Thompson the whole season. Next year, Klay, D'Angelo, and Steph together. I think that's gonna be a blast. I think that team's winning like 55. Like that's gonna be a real good team next year. But this year, I think that's gonna be it's gonna be down. I'm taking an under on this one too, but I'm not going less than the Lakers. I think they're gonna be like doing like 47, like barely, kind of close to this. Looks about right for me.
Yeah,
but I think next year they'll be right back in it. They'll be like they could maybe be a 4th seed. But or 3rd, who knows? But like they are better. They're better than the Lakers to me, though.
Okay,
it's close.
I don't think they are.
I think the Lakers have more depth. I think the Lakers are better than them actually. Which is
I agree.
Weird to say.
I agree. Again, not by a lot, but I do agree that they are better than the Warriors. I see the Warriors finishing at like right around 44 wins. They'll make the playoffs, but they're one injury away from not making the playoffs at all. Like this is not a great basketball team. This is not a very deep basketball team. They're already going into the season hurt. I like D'Angelo Russell. It's going to be really interesting to see him playing next to Steph. I agree with Nikki. I think this is going to be a very fun season for Steph. I don't think it's going to be as fun of a season for the Warriors. However, they will make the playoffs because you're not going to open a brand new stadium with this team and not make the playoffs. Like they're going to do whatever they can to make the playoffs this year. They want that revenue. They need the ROI in that stadium.
Yeah. It is funny that a team who has historically not been that great outside of, the recent dynasty and the Run TMC years, that is sinking all this money into a new stadium.
Yeah.
And now the team is looking like it's on its decline. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I think that's just, I don't know.
It's so great.
Poetic about it. Especially too as they take the team away from the good citizens of Oakland, and they now it's all.
I'd be fine.
Guys.
I would be fine with this team completely plummeting after leaving Oakland like that and not being a good team. But I just know they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, they're not.
But
they're not going anywhere.
I would have no problem with that team just all of a sudden disappearing off the face of the earth for like how quickly because everyone keeps leaving Oakland. The Raiders are about to leave. Man.
When are we going to start pointing the finger at Oakland, man? When are we going to start pointing the finger at the politicians? I
point my fingers at politicians all the time.
Boom. All right, let's move on to the next team here, guys, unless we have anything else to say on Golden State.
Nah.
No.
All right. The Utah Jazz, gentlemen. The Utah Jazz, who are currently predicted to have a record of 51-31, of course, made a great trade some people would say, of Mike Conley Jr., signed Bojan Bogdanovic, who was formerly of the Indiana Pacers. They bring back, of course, Rudy Gobert and Joe Ingles. Dante Exum returning from injury. They did sign Emmanuel Mudiay in the offseason, as well as Ed Davis and Jeff Green. How are you guys feeling about the Jazz this year?
I think they're good. I think they'll be significantly improved from last season.
What is significant? What is significantly?
I think they'll be the 3 seed.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
I think they'll be the 3 seed, and I think they'll win probably right about 51 games, like somewhere right in there.
I say 53, so I'm a little higher on that. Okay. I think that 53 sounds good.
They're much better than they were last year.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. The Jazz are my second favorite team in the Western Conference this year. You
said that last year, so I'm not listening to this again.
Different team now. They're better than they were last year. They have a real point guard in Mike Conley Jr. and Bojan Bogdanovic.
I did the same thing last week, so don't worry
was about it. The best scorer on the Indiana Pacers roster last year, and in some cases was their best player when Oladipo went down. Sneaky good signing. You bring those two in, and the biggest problem that Utah had last year is if Donovan Mitchell wasn't scoring, they weren't scoring. You now fix that problem with Bogdan and Mike Conley, who are both going to help increase their scoring, who are going to increase their three-point percentage. You have now the third year of Donovan Mitchell, who was an all-star last year, who led them in the playoffs last year to ultimately a defeat by the Houston Rockets, but a competitive series nonetheless. Well, competitive. But in any case, you bring back Defensive Player of the Year candidate Rudy Gobert. I love this team. They're my second favorite team in the Western Conference. I've got them at 53 wins this season.
You still got Mr. Jangles too.
Jingles, who had a weird season. He had a weird season last year, but
I give them 53. I give them 53.
I like this team, man. I really like this team. Anything else you guys want to say about the Utah Jazz?
No.
All right. Let's move on to the Los Angeles Clippers, who many say are the best team in Los Angeles. Of course, signed Kawhi Leonard from the championship-winning Toronto Raptors and made a huge trade for one Paul George. Maintained most of their roster of last year's team, who did make the playoffs, and had a fun little run. You bring back Montrezl Harrell, you bring back Lou Williams, you bring back Patrick Beverley, who got paid. This is a fun team, guys.
Yeah. Oh, and they signed Kawhi and Paul George.
Oh, did I not mention that? Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. You left that part out, which is probably not as important as talking about the rest of the guys they did retain.
Of course.
My thing that I feel like is crazy with it is like that Kawhi and Paul George can at all points in time do the amazing things they can do on both defense and offense. And then if either one of them gets tired, the other one can keep being amazing at defense while you just bring Lou Williams to average like 20 points a game for you. So like this team looks real good. I am over on 53. I'll give them 55, maybe even 56. Who knows? I think this team's very good. I think they're gonna be so much fun to watch.
All right, Tad?
They're gonna be expensive though.
Yeah, I mean, like I know that we've got one team that I guess they're predicted to win the same amount of games as the Nuggets this season, but I mean, this has got to be unquestionably your number one seed, right? Like they have to be. They're 53 wins. I say more, probably 55, 56. They're really, really good. Like they made, like you. I mean, you mentioned it already, but like they retained a lot of the players that were beneficial for them last year. Pat Beverley, great player, obviously. You know, Sweet Lou, love that guy. I can't ever pronounce his name right. Montrezl Harrell. See, Montrezl Harrell. There we go. I always do this. I do it every time I say it. I do it every time I say his name. Yes. Sure. Anyway, him coming back is big. I mean, he played really well down the stretch. I was really impressed. He's not a guy that like I ever really expected much from. And so I always love when you know there's a guy that just kind of like endears himself to you because you're like, oh, like this guy, like nobody really thought was going to be like a good player, and here he is. So yeah, they're good. They're the number 1 seed. Kawhi and Paul George. Obviously, Kawhi's got to stay healthy. That's important. But the nice thing is that they're sort of like the same player. The big question I think is going to come down to is, can Paul George play shooting guard too? Because like they tried that when he was in Indiana and it didn't really work all that well. He's more of a true 3. But I'm sure that, they'll figure it out. Like I'm sure they will. So I think they're your 1
could
seed.
probably play the 2 as well.
Probably there's
You're better off
probably
getting having
truth to
Kawhi at
that.
the 4 than the 2, but
True. There's so many options you have with him.
okay. Controversial take here. I love this Clippers team. However, I do think they're going to finish under, and here's why. I have them finishing at 49 wins. The reason being is part of the reason that Kawhi was able to make the deep run that he was in the playoffs last year is because he took a lot of games off during the regular season. Paul George is also coming off of a shoulder injury, and it's likely that his load management during the regular season will be managed pretty closely because the end goal here is a championship. For that reason, I think that this team underperforms to expectations because of load management. Still a great team. I still have them finishing at like 49 wins this year. But I do think that they're going to be below their predicted win total solely because of load management. That's my only reasoning for saying that.
Load management. Is that like a porn thing?
That's it.
Yeah.
I'll bring Amber in. She'll tell you.
Yikes. That's disgusting.
Yikes.
Moving on. I understand where you're coming from, but you're wrong.
Okay, I'll take it. Listen, it's on wax. Guys, next team on the predictions is the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets, who last year were the number 1 seed, weren't they? No.
Yes.
They were 2.
They were the 2
number
seed.
2. Yeah, number 2. Sorry.
Were the 2 seed in the Western Conference last year.
You guys might have heard of the Golden State Warriors. They were.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, they were.
This team, of course, a lot of people had high hopes for them. They met those expectations last year. Nikola Jokic was a first-team All-NBA player. They bring back, of course, Jamal Murray. Michael Porter Jr. is going to have his rookie season this year. They bring back Gary Harris, Paul Millsap, Malik Beasley, who had a very promising season last year. Will Barton is now returning from injury. Tad's favorite player, Monte Morris, is back. Juancho Hernan-Gomez. Like, it's a very deep roster. They did sign Jeremy Grant. How are you guys feeling about the Nuggets this year? Are we going to have a repeat performance from last year?
I think so. I mean, like, what other team in the West is better than them outside of the Clippers?
Yeah, I think they've gotten better. And I'm very excited to see Michael Porter Jr. play. He's going to contribute to that team for sure.
He looks
stiff. But he's still scoring very easily, and as time goes on,
in the
he'll be
preseason,
able to work out muscles. I know it's preseason, but I'm saying it's like the shot's still there. He's still got a beautiful stroke. He still knows how to shoot while off the dribble as well as from the catch. Like he knows what he's doing, and it's gonna, as time goes on, as the season goes on, he becomes more and more comfortable. I think he'll contribute more and more. Is Bol going to play this year? I don't know at all. I doubt it. I didn't think so.
Not a chance.
You don't have to worry about him, but like Jamal Murray has been getting better. He's the one person that I'm like, I've always been like, I don't see it. He's going to do, but he's clearly a good player. He's going to do very good. And that team, like I said, all playoffs last year, they were winning and losing based on how he played. So if he has a better season, I think they're going to be fighting for the Clippers for the first seed. I think I'd give them 55 wins, so I could do an over on this one. I think the Nuggets are going to be a very fun team. They're good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean this is. I mean, I don't know that like the Clippers are that much better than them. In fact, like they might not even be better than them. I still think the Clippers are probably your 1 seed, but. I'm not saying that with a ton of conviction because the Nuggets are really fucking good. Jokic is really good. Jokic is one of the most like unique players I think I've ever seen in my entire life. He's a very crafty. He doesn't look athletic. He like I don't even know how to describe it, but he's like a sort of like the next iteration of like of Pau Gasol. Is kind of what he reminds me of. Like Pau Gasol is the blueprint, or Arvydas Sabonis.
I was about to say he's like what Arvydas would have been had he played in his 20s.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's and I like Jamal Murray. You're right. I hate Monte Morris, but I appreciate him as a basketball player. He's very talented. It's a really good team. Like I mean, this says they have a legitimate shot at being the 1 seed, and they have a legitimate shot at winning a freaking championship.
Yeah, it's possible.
Guys, Nikola Jokic got fat. Okay, he did the opposite of the Kristaps Porzingis diet. He only put on mass in the offseason. I have some.
At one point in the offseason, he was looking shredded, and then he got fat again. He's fine. This is just what he does.
He's
fine.
He got fat. He got fat.
Fine.
Okay.
I bet you he's the exact same weight as he was last year. He's fine. You're going to be like, well, he got fat. He's going to be like, yeah, I'll fucking eat donuts as I average 20, 20, and 10. Like, it's fine. He's fine.
Here's point number.
I think he's one of the people who's got an MVP chance this year. He's going to be fucking fine.
That's fine. I'm not saying he's going to have a bad season. Just putting it out there. Here's thing number 2. This team has way too many wing players. Okay? Like wing players that are deserving of minutes. Malik Beasley, Gary Harris, Jamal Murray, Torrey Craig, Monte Morris, Will Barton. There's not enough minutes to go around. Sure, wing players, right? I mean, ultimately, Jokic, everything runs through Jokic. So, like, they're wing players. But you have, like, 4 guys who basically play the same position in Torrey Craig. Let me finish. Torrey Craig, Malik Beasley, Gary Harris, and Will Barton effectively play the same exact position. Sure. Unfortunately, Torrey Craig is probably going to be the loser in that battle because you got money on the table with these other 3 guys. Malik Beasley is in a contract year. He had a really, really promising season last year. There's not enough time to go around for all 4 of these guys to play, and I'm going to be really interested to see how Mike Malone balances out the minutes for these 4 players. I will say this. There is some real potential here for a Bradley Beal trade, and if that happens, this becomes my favorite team in the Western Conference. However, if the roster as it currently stands is intact, I have them as my 4th seed in the Western Conference with 48 wins this year. I think there's going to be a small downswing.
That's too low.
Fuck you're talking about. That's too low.
That's way too low.
I've got them at my 4 seed. I
really appreciate the fact that you've agreed with me on almost everything tonight. Fuck you, Jake.
That's what I'm feeling, man. That's what I'm feeling about these Nuggets. I like this team. I do. Also,
it doesn't sound like you do.
I do. I have some concerns, and they're not my favorite team in the Western Conference. I like them. They're just not my favorite team. All right, boys.
They 100% are a good team.
We've made it to the last team in the Western Conference, the Houston Rockets, who, of course, made a trade for Mr. Russell Westbrook to reunite him with James Harden. They do bring back Clint Capella.
I forgot about the Rockets. I'm not going to lie to you. I completely forgot that we hadn't talked about them yet.
Lot of news surrounding this team in the offseason thus far. They did already lose Gerald Green. I mean, he's not hurt for a long period of time, but he is going to be out for a little bit. Eric Gordon, of course, returns. Nene is hurt already. PJ Tucker's back. They bring back Ryan Anderson, Tyson Chandler. Austin Rivers returns. Thabo Sefolosha they sign in the offseason. How you guys feeling about the Rockets this year? Is the Russ James Harden experiment going to work?
Might.
Hot take.
Because we didn't think the Chris Paul thing would work, and that worked. That worked.
I disagree. I said the Chris Paul thing.
He did. It's on wax.
That's true. You did. But I'm saying most people didn't think the Chris Paul thing would work, right? That was like their big thing. They're like, how would they get this to work? And they got it to work. Now, and those 2 guys didn't even like each other. Like Russell Westbrook and James Harden are at least buddies. They'll understand, like, hey, it's clearly worked with a guy I'm not a fan of. So you and I can definitely get ours while still winning.
I think we are about to watch one of the most unimaginative offenses in the history of the NBA. Not for lack of trying from Mike D'Antoni, but because he's going to have two players who are just going to play isolation basket. I actually think this makes them worse. Not like significantly so. Not like not like a 10-win drop off, but
no, I think they win 50 this year. So I'm under on this record because it says 57. I don't think they win that many, but I still think that they're going to be a good team. You know? But
I agree. They're still going to be a good team. I don't think this team, like, I don't know how one of them is like, you have like Kawhi and Paul George in LA, right? And the two of them are willing to defer to other players and like, let other players like take shots. I don't know how you're going to do this with two players that are like just so ball dominant. Like, and who I don't think either of them has the ego to give the has a small enough ego basically to give the ball up. Like Chris Paul is the kind of guy who's like the team. So it's easy for him to defer to a guy like James Harden. I don't know how you're gonna make. I don't know how you're gonna make it work. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I think based off of pure talent, they're gonna win games because like them two and Clint Capella. That's a good big three as like your three best players in a sense. That's a good combo.
This is my favorite team in the Western Conference, guys. I love the Houston Rockets.
I was just waiting for it. God,
here's why.
Like you were just waiting. You wanted to just hear us so you could be like, here's the devil's advocate version of it.
It's not even devil's advocate, guys. These are two of the top 5 players in the Western Conference. 1, 2. Eric Gordon had his worst shooting season ever last year. The chances of that happening again, very, very low. PJ Tucker comes back. You bring back Clint Capella, who is now going to be able to play with a much more athletic point guard again, like he did in the first year of Chris Paul. That dynamic was not working, and there's something to be said about how that roster. It's already showing in the preseason, and yes, it's preseason, but Russ is already decreasing his mid-range numbers and has resorted to shooting 3-point shots from the corner, which is a much easier shot for him in terms of hitting 3-point shots. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but he's shown the willingness to take those shots. This is a better Houston Rockets team than the team that we had last year, and they return guys like Gerald Green, and they bring back they surround themselves with some more shooters. They bring back Austin Rivers. I have the Houston Rockets finishing with 60 wins this year. I really like this Rockets team.
Wow. So do you think this is finally like the Rockets team that can make it to the finals?
I do. I really do.
I mean, I don't have the Warriors in the way now. They just have each other in the way.
I like this team. I really like this team. And they had a battle. They had a battle with the Warriors last year too. Like we thought for a second that they were going to beat the Warriors.
Yeah, for a second.
Well, KD went down, and we're like, oh, that's it. Houston's going to win, and then they came back. But like, there was a real chance that they were on the fence. They were on the fringe of beating the Golden State Warriors last year. That team is good, man, and they're better this year.
If everything clicks, I can see 60. But if it doesn't, I'm giving them 50, which is still very good. So they're a good team.
That's my squad in the Western Conference. Anything else you guys want to say on the Houston Rockets?
I don't think they're going to be that good. Not as good. Not as good as people are. Not as good as this is like projecting them. Not that they're not going to be good. They're going to be very good. But
all right, let's do some rapid fire questions. And then we'll wrap up today's podcast. Okay. Question number 1. Eastern Conference and Western Conference. Who is and we talked about this a little bit, but who is your NBA League Pass team in each conference respectively? Tad, we'll start with you.
That's tough. Like the Kings are up there. I really like the Kings. The Trailblazers are always on the list. So I'm going to say the Kings just because they're not on TV as much as some of the other teams. So in the West, I will say the Kings. In the East, I got to go with your Orlando Magic. Because we're actually going to be really good this year. We're only on national TVs. We're on national TV 6 times.
Yep,
Yeah.
I've heard.
6 times.
For me, my Western Conference team is going to be the Pelicans because even without Zion, I still think it's going to be a fun team to watch when Zion comes back. It's definitely what you're going to be keeping your eyes on. And then for the Eastern Conference, for me, it's the Pacers. I know that sounds kind of a weird team, but I really like Victor Oladipo, and I think that.
I will say this though, we fucked up on the Pacers because Oladipo's going to be out for a lot longer than we thought.
Really?
He's going to be out for a while. He's not coming back right away.
Ah, shit.
He's still recovering. We fucked up on that one.
That changes mine then.
Yeah, he's not coming back right away.
Then my league pass team would be, because I really want to watch for Victor Oladipo, so that kind of goes away on that.
Victor Oladipo is staying patient.
Not what you want to hear.
Yeah.
No, you don't hear that at all.
Not what you want to hear.
Shit. You know what? I think I might have to say the Orlando Magic.
Oh, actually, no. He played 30 minutes of 5-on-5.
Okay.
Practice.
Good.
Promising.
That's good.
Guys, we got a clean sweep. The Orlando Magic are my Eastern Conference League Pass team this year. Tad has turned me into a Magic fan. I'm really pulling from them this year. And I will say this.
This is actually just, I'm so happy.
They're my team. They're obviously, now I will say this. I'm not picking the Bulls because they're local and I don't need League Pass to watch them. I maintain that they are going to be a very exciting team to watch. Kobe White has had a really good preseason. Zach LaVine's had a really good preseason. I'm very much looking forward to this Bulls season, but the Magic are going to be my Eastern Conference League Pass team. And as I previously mentioned, I think the Magic and the Mavericks are my Eastern and Western Conference teams. Next question.
I think those are good choices.
Western Conference Finals. Who you got? Nikki, we'll start with you.
Based on everything, I think I'd go Clippers Jazz.
Okay. And the winner is?
Clippers.
Okay. Tad, who you got?
Nuggets Clippers.
Ooh, and the winner is?
Nuggets.
Okay. All right. Okay. And I've got Clippers Rockets, and as I mentioned previously, I've got the Rockets going in the championship this year. Championship matchup and championship winner, Tad.
Well, are we not doing Eastern Conference? Did we pick our Eastern Conference?
Yeah, we did that on the last podcast.
I don't even remember who I said.
You said the Bucks.
Oh, that's right. I did say the Bucks. Yeah, I recall that now. The Bucks, and I just looked back at the thing now and I realized, that is who I would have picked anyway. Take the Nuggets over the Bucks in 6 games in the NBA Finals.
Wow, Nikki, what you got?
I take the Clippers over the Bucks in 6 games.
Okay, and I have Rockets Sixers and Philadelphia 76ers are winning the championship this year, guys. Calling it here. I really like that Sixers team. They're winning the championship this year.
That's just you're wrong.
Oh, it's happening. Guys, let's go. Quick superlatives. Obviously, we talked previously. Zion's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. As far as Rookie of the Year is concerned, is that going to impact his chances? And I want to hear if you have Zion as your Rookie of the Year, which I'm sure all 3 of us do. Who is your 1B? Nikki, let's start with you.
1B, Tyler Hero. That kid looks amazing.
Ooh, I like that pick. I like that pick.
He has been and the way he works in that offense is very good. He's constantly moving off a bunch of picks. He's got Winslow, Butler, like the whole team. Miami may not be a great team, but they'll be able to work well, and he will be able to score. I think he's going to average at least 20.
I like that.
That kick so fucking well.
I like that
it's
pick.
Ridiculous.
I like that pick. Tad, what you got?
So, obviously the being out 6 to 8 weeks does hurt Zion's chances to some degree, but if he comes back and plays the way that he's looked in preseason and the way that we know he can be, I don't think we have too much to worry about. And I think he'll still win it. That said, if he doesn't win it, I've got a good one. Michael Porter Jr.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. I think he had it. Obviously he was hurt last season, but he had the time. He got to spend some time in an NBA system. Nikki, I think, said it best when he said he's looked sort of stiff in the preseason, But having said that, he still looks like he's scoring well. He looks like he's adjusting to the speed that they play in the NBA at. And I think he's going to be, I think he's going to be real, real good.
Okay. Well, I agree with the two of you. I think 6 to 8 weeks is probably not enough to stop Zion from winning Rookie of the Year. But if it is, I got a dark horse here, boys. Darius Garland of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I really like him. I think that he is going to carry.
He played 11 games in college.
Listen. Guards often win Rookie of the Year, especially guards who score. And Darius Garland's going to score. Like, that's it. It's not that he's the best rookie in the class. It's about scoring. That's all that the voters care about.
I don't disagree with you.
Darius Garland, I think, is going to be my 1B this year behind Zion. I like the hero pick, by the way. I was going to say hero, but then you picked him, so there goes that. Most Improved Player of the Year award. Tad, who's your most improved player of the year this year?
Oh man, that's tough. Most improved. Shit, I don't know.
All right, we'll come back to you, Nikki. You got a pick?
Give me a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a toss up between two very fun players. I think it's either going to be De'Aaron Fox out of the Kings.
I thought about him too, but
that's going to be a tough one.
He's going to be one of the big ones. I think Zach LaVine is going to average 27, 28 points a game this year, and maybe even more, and he might win Most Improved Player.
I like that.
He's been looking good, and he can drive to the basket, but what people seem to always not think about for him is he was put on the Timberwolves to be a 3-point shooter. Yep. He was supposed to be a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do very well. He's going to have an all-star bid this year.
Okay. All right. Tad, you got a pick?
Miles Bridges, maybe? What's wrong with that?
It's fine, I guess.
Actually, you know what? I'll tell you who I have. We got Dejounte Murray. Most player.
I like that. I like that pick.
That's a good one.
I've been really high on him for a long time, and obviously he was hurt last season, so he'll be back. Yeah, Dejounte Murray.
Okay, I got a boring one. Gordon Hayward, Most Improved Player this year.
That is boring, but that's not a bad take.
He fits the criteria. Like Dwight Howard once won Most Improved Player. It fits the criteria. He was injured. Now he's back. It works.
Yeah.
It's a formula.
I can see that.
It's a formula. Sixth man of the year, guys. Sixth man of the year. Nikki, who you got?
I think that seems like a home. I would say Derrick Rose because I think Lou Williams might not do as ridiculously good this year since he doesn't have to.
I agree with that.
I legitimately think that Pistons team will win games solely off of Derrick Rose going off in the fourth.
Okay. All right.
They're literally they're trying to do with him what Lou Williams was for the Lakers on the Lakers and what he was with the Clippers for the last 2 seasons.
All right. Okay. Tad, who you got? Sixth man of the year.
JJ Redick.
Ooh, good pick. I like that. Yep. I'm gonna pick Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie is gonna be my sixth man of the year this year.
That's a good choice. I strongly considered him.
Nearly won it last year. And a lot of the guys that were in front of him on this list, like you said, Nikki, like Lou Williams, part of the reason why he's won the last 2 years is because he was the scoring for those Clippers teams. He's now losing that role. So it's going to change pretty drastically.
I don't know, man.
That's why
he's going to finish in the top 3.
He's still going to.
Oh, sure.
I think he's definitely top 3.
I agree.
But that's why I think there's a good chance that Derrick Rose can get it is because he's going to have nights where he's scoring 25 points for that team to get wins.
I agree.
I think he can do it.
Tad, defensive player of the year. Who you got?
Rudy Gobert.
Okay. Nikki.
Boring. So boring, but that's – I mean,
But I got one that'll make it more interesting. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I like that.
He was pissed that he didn't win that one last year.
Yeah, he probably should have. I mean, there was a case to be made for him last year. There really was. I think my defensive player.
Dwight Howard.
I'm actually going to say Anthony Davis. I've got Anthony Davis winning defensive player of the year this year. He's still one of the best in the league. He's going to have a lot of opportunities in LA if he can stay healthy. Anthony Davis is my defensive player of the year pick. NBA MVP. And we'll wrap it up with this. Nikki, who you got?
Deer noise is all the fucking way. Giannis is going back to back.
Wow. Okay. Back to back. Tad, MVP of the season. Who you got?
Anthony Davis.
Ooh, good pick. I'm going to go with Steph Curry. I stand behind what we were talking about earlier with the Warriors. I think Steph Curry is going to have a very statistically significant season.
Number 2. I think he gets number 2 for the year. I truthfully think that by the end of here's my bold prediction. By the end of the season, there will be no doubt in anybody who actually pays attention to the NBA's mind. Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be the best player in the NBA by the end of the season.
Hot take.
Everyone's going to be agreeing with me. I swear to God. He looks good.
Hot take. Hot take.
I think he averaged 3 made 3-pointers in the preseason or something like that. Like, he's going to be good.
All right. Guys, any last words? There's 59 minutes until the first day of NBA basketball. Closing words. Any last things you want to say?
59 minutes in the Central Time Zone. Nikki's still got
I still got
Good call.
3 hours. And New York is actually New York and all the other
It already
countries.
started. They're already celebrating. Damn it.
Yeah, they're waiting.
Well, guys, it's if the podcast listeners are listening, the basketball season started today. Any best wishes for our NBA fans this year?
I don't have any best wishes. Just fuck China.
Yeah. Strong statement.
Yep.
Don't care. Fuck them.
Fuck him.
I'm very excited for this NBA season. There's parity back in the league. It's super fucking exciting.
Parity is back. This should be one of the most entertaining seasons in a while.
It's gonna be good.
I'm very pumped.
It's gonna be good.
Like today couldn't come fast enough.
Amen, dude. All right, boys.
You can follow me at shit. I was like, what? Okay, boys, what? You can follow me at Nikki. All social media, but truthfully, I just use Instagram. I just started up in TikTok. I had nothing on there, but who knows? One day.
Is the only thing that you use Twitter for like the funny tweets that I send you guys?
Yeah. Or every once in a while, it'll be like, news you should know. A famous person died. Trump said something stupid. Someone made money in sports. That's usually what ends up happening.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Tad, plugs?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at @TadHall_. I did gain like 7 followers recently, and like 3 of them like were NBA centric, it seems. So yeah, nice. Thank you. I assume you people listen to this. So
all right. Well, you can follow me at J_Keelas. Also, if you are a fan of EA Love, we just released episode 2 of the new EA Love YouTube show. So be on the lookout for that. EA Love on YouTube. You can follow NBA at NBA Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can follow the Yay Network at Yay Network at YouTube. On YouTube, pardon me. You can see this on video if you want to see our faces and this terrible lighting. But in any case, all right. Well, for Tad, for Nikki, for Jay, this has been NBA. We're out.